Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey.
Definitely on. Actually, I might have a little sip of this coffee before I roll it up.
Yeah. Always.
Whew. Okay, well, let's just kick it off.
Let's do it.
All right, and welcome to the Pagey Train. Today I have in the studio with me Wayne Tunks from Tunks Productions, writer, director, actor, screenwriter. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Man, you are a man of many talents.
Master of none.
I can totally relate.
Yeah.
I can totally relate. Man, you have just come out of production on your feature.
Yeah.
Which is according to Otto.
That's the one.
But I'm a little bit confused though, because I remember seeing advertisements last year. I was actually through a mutual friend of ours, Jasper.
Jasper Musgrave.
Yeah, big shout out.
Fantastic young man.
Yeah.
Going places.
Totally. That's exactly what I thought when I met him. We were in a pub, and I remember looking at him going, how old is this
He
fellow?
would not have been old enough to have been in there.
And then I figured it out. The penny dropped with him. I'm like, oh, he's not allowed to be in here. And then I thought, well, don't make a scene, Ross. Don't want to make a scene. But then it hit me when I was driving home. Like, what an ambitious dude. He knew what he was doing. He's like, I've got to go, because it was a room full of people.
Yeah.
And to get in the know, I've totally outed you there, Jasper. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, he's 18 now, so it's fine.
It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Great. But I just remember talking to him and like, and then, you know, when you reflect on a conversation, you're like, that man is switched on.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
I wrote that role for him.
Oh, really?
I met him when I was the festival director for Short and Sweet Sydney, and he came and did a play, acted in a play. He also was directing a play, and I was just so inspired by him that I went away and I wrote this play. It was originally a play, wrote it, and he started, and it was just wonderful. And then in the film, he's pretty much in every single scene of the film, and he eats the screen up. He's amazing.
Yeah, no, I think he's got all those boxes ticked. He's photogenic, very approachable, and a talented man. And
a hell of a smile.
Yeah, he's got some chompers on him.
Yeah, some good dental work there. Yeah. It might be all natural. I don't know. Yeah,
might be all natural. It might be all natural. But just coming back to being a play, because like I said, I was a bit confused by it, because I remember seeing advertisements for it for being a play, and then I was talking to Jasper about it. Yeah, and then I saw that you were making it into a movie.
Yeah.
How is it difficult to transfer from on screen to a feature film?
I think it's pretty much yes and no. Because you have that play so ingrained in you. Because I was in it as well. I did the play every night, so those lines are right then and there. And I had been writing theatre for 20 years. So for me, the big challenge was to write a screenplay, and you need shorter scenes and you need punchier scenes, and you can't have everything that would happen in a play, because in a play you always write longer scenes. So that was the hardest thing. But the good thing was that I used the same cast. They were fantastic, and really knew the world before I went in there. So I felt like I already knew all these characters and could write a little bit more for them and really get to explore them more.
Yeah, wow, okay. I know of course it's been done, but I don't think I've ever talked to anyone who's actually moved something from from the stage to screen.
Yeah.
So, what inspired you to do that?
I think just everyone who saw it said this would be a great film. Like, literally, it was the first thing people would say to me. They'd go, oh my God, Wayne, I love the play. It would be a great film. And, and just you hear that enough that you go, yeah, this is... Because you don't get that with every play. Sometimes people go, wow, that was a really nice wardrobe in the play. I like the songs that you used in the play. And, they hated it. But when they come out and tell you that, it should be a film and they loved it, you know that you're on to something. And I think, we had this really, really powerful story. And for me, I've always really been passionate about telling LGBTQ stories, and this was one. And to be able to put that on the screen and then, really love what I've done is another thing. So I hope people like the film when it comes out.
Yeah, it definitely got a good reception. The play got a great reception.
Yeah.
There was a lot of word on the street about it. A lot of you can always tell by the shares, because don't get me wrong, we all put out the what do you call it? The page, paid advertisement for Facebook.
Yep.
But you see those organic shares going out there, and Auto was getting a lot of organic shares.
Yeah, it really was, which was fantastic. And then, because that was great as well, we crowdfunded it. So a lot of people who saw the play then put some money into the film as well, which helped us make it.
Well, it's very daunting to do crowdfunding. Is that the first thing that you've crowdfunded before? Or?
No, I've done it a lot over the years. I used to, back in the day, do sort of trivia nights or, actors singing, or because I did a burlesque play, I had a burlesque night, whatever I could to raise money. And then crowdfunding became a thing, and I was straight onto that. So I've crowdfunded many plays over the years. After Nightfall, my web series, we did a little bit of crowdfunding for that, but this was certainly the biggest undertaking I'd done with crowdfunding.
Well, a bit of a shout-out, speaking of After Nightfall. I got to play one of the episodes at Made in the West,
yes.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
I think you actually pulled out an award on that as well.
We did.
Best sound design.
Best sound design. And it was, PJ is a fantastic sound designer, and he did a wonderful job. So it was really lovely, because it was funny. We had just come back from New York, and we'd been nominated for 2 awards in New York. We were up for Best Thriller and Best Sound Design, and PJ came all the way over, and we won Best Thriller, but he didn't win Best Sound Design. So the big joke was he didn't actually need to go to New York. He just needed to go to Liverpool to get an award. So he loved that night. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. No, but it's such a good gala night to go and get awards like that. So it's great to be sort of like as someone who's stumbled into it, as someone who's just hungry to show their own film, to get reactions like that is just absolutely fantastic. Fills me with joy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been to, in the past few years, I've been to a lot of film festivals and internationally as well, and it's right up there for me. I love it. I've done it 2 years in a row now, and I'm already planning my one for this year. So yeah, it's a festival that I really love and want to keep being a part of.
Yeah, well, you, as you say, you were in the festival last year as well with Arlo.
Yes.
That was a really good film. We chose to open the festival with Arlo.
Yeah.
I think it was real well received as well.
Yeah, and there was a big, it was all lead up to one punchline, and people laughed at the punchline, so that's all I worry about. Just moments beforehand, I just like, oh.
You haven't released Arlo yet, have you?
No, it is on YouTube. I haven't promoted it, but it is there.
It is there. Oh, I totally recommend it, guys. Go out and check Arlo.
Yeah, if you look up my name, Wayne Tunks, on YouTube, it's on my channel.
Yeah, great. But being a screenwriter, so how long have you been a screenwriter for?
So I studied TV production at uni in Wagga Wagga. I did that 90s.
So good they named it twice.
Yes, so good they named it twice. Isn't that wee wee? But yeah.
I think it works with all of those Australian.
It so works with all that, and I love it, So I did that in 93 to 95, and then, of course, I completely gave up and went on to work in theatre instead for many, many years. And then I worked at Neighbours in 2010. I moved to Melbourne to be a storyliner on Neighbours.
Oh, wow.
And so that was when it sort of got reawoken in me, and I went. And then when I came back to Sydney in 2015, I said, I'm kind of done with theatre and I need to do film, and that's when sort of After Nightfall was born.
Okay. I need to do a big shout out for the J-Man. He's a big Neighbours fan.
Oh, he is.
If he was listening,
every time I'm with him, he
you talked to him about this?
He's asked me many questions about Neighbours. Yeah.
For those of you that maybe in the dark about this, our friend Jay, producer, big shout out again, is a massive Neighbours fan.
Massive Neighbours fan.
Yeah, it's a bit alarming, really.
Yeah, I think he needs a support group.
I think he has one, and they all have the same thing. Like he's met people interstate from being on chat rooms from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I
love that kind of fan love. Because I myself have a fan love. Like I'm the world's. I'm not going to say the world's biggest, but I'm one of the world's biggest Madonna fans. Like I have Madonna tattoos. I went to New York last year to see her. I love that kind of dedication to one thing.
Yeah. So going into back into making film, and to getting behind the camera, because it's a different experience. I don't know. The only experience I have like doing stage stuff is obviously doing music.
Yeah.
And there's a different buzz to being on a stage than there is in front of a camera.
100%.
It's a different medium. It's strange. It's got the same tools.
Yeah.
It possesses the same tools. Obviously, you need to be the writer. You need to be able to have a vision for how things look and blocking and movement of performance.
Yep.
But there's the technical side of filmmaking. I suppose it's the same in theatre though.
Yeah,
right?
I mean there is, and there's and some people would say that theatre's really limiting, but then I would also say that independent filmmaking's limiting. Because I can imagine much more things on stage because the audience will believe things that I tell them. Whereas on film, if I'm like, oh look, here's a massive bazooka, they want to see a massive bazooka.
And it's also, I think, storytelling in a more of a compressed mode. You need to fit more into a smaller space in filmmaking.
Yes, very much so. And as an actor, it's a much harder thing. I'm a theatre actor. I teach theatre. That has been my thing. So I had to relearn how to act by doing film. And I had done little bits of film and guesties on TV shows over the years. But now that I'm exclusively doing film acting, I've really had to learn to pull myself right back. And I'm a very expressive person. So I had to learn to do all that down, because in theatre you act with your whole body and you don't do that on film.
I call it the thespian scenario. I've had this experience with stage actors when I've directed them for short film, and they will be very deliberate in their action. And then it took me that experience to figure out why.
Yeah.
Because on stage you need to be very deliberate so that the audience can see you.
Yes.
But on film you don't need to have these exaggerated expressions.
Yeah, and even speech. You don't have to speak as much on film, and in stage you've got to enunciate everything so the back of the room can hear you speak.
Yeah, that's right. There's more projection.
Yeah, and like stage whispers and things like that. And so it's a whole other set of skills for acting, which is why often over the years I've had soap actors come and work in my plays, and they really struggle at first because they're doing a soap opera performance while the rest of the theatre actors are doing this big, massive, performance. So it goes both ways.
Well, I wonder, just on that, I just wonder, if you look back to the before there were film, there were actors on stage on travelling troupes that would go town to town, and I wonder, by taking a soap opera actor and then putting them into a stage, do they tune into their primal evolutionary juices to go back and have that awakening? Or
some do, some do not. Some don't rise to the challenge at all, and then others end up really loving it and wanting to do more of it, because it is a completely different type of acting, and it's amazing acting. And the beautiful thing about theatre is the immediacy. You make a film and then maybe 2 years later people get to see it. When you act, every night you have a different audience, and if you get a joke, they laugh along, you love that. If you've got a really sad scene and you can hear somebody cry in the audience, like that is a real stroke to your ego, which you don't always get with film acting. Instead you look over and there's the crew, like the boom operator, looking completely bored.
Yeah, and the drivers checking their phone.
Or the extras are yawning in the background because you've just had to do the 8th take of that one scene.
The production manager is saying, put that cigarette out when on set. Sorry, I shouldn't smoke on set. But I'm a bit of a bad boy.
I didn't think you were talking about you then, but apparently,
definitely. I mean, I've done all kinds of crazy things on set. I remember there got to a point where I was working with a particular cinematographer, and me and him were the original Cheech and Chong, and we were just in a rock and roll stage of my life. Let me just put it that way.
Yep.
And
Last Friday. Yep.
Yeah. We would just tear through a set. We'd do a good job. We'd always be able to do a job. But then I just realised at one point, this is work. This is a workplace for us. You've got to do, even though you can do your job, doesn't mean everyone's like you.
Yep.
And they're expecting different from you.
But that is the heart of doing live music as well. The whole, because some people, are really good going out on stage having quite a few drinks or other substances, whereas other people need to be completely bone sober. I guess that's the beauty of live music.
I think it's changing in my life, though. I think there was a point doing live music that I'd always have to have a drink or two before going up. But these days, sometimes I guess I've gotten longer in the tooth. So I go, I could do a better job if I wasn't a little bit drunk. I'd have less fun, perhaps.
Yeah. No, because you're more focused on working then.
Yeah, but I definitely had to, and that was in my student days. I had to pull it back. But now I moved on to more boring things of doing.
And instead, we're drinking while doing a podcast.
Cheers! 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 Yeah, welcome aboard the Pagey train. This is definitely the drinks card.
Good. I love a good drinks card.
But speaking of podcasts, you're doing a podcast at the moment.
I am. You, Me, the 80s and the 90s, which probably you can guess from the title is not about senior citizens. It's about music from the 80s and the 90s.
So I think you're a few episodes in. So
we've episode 12 comes out. If this comes out next week, this episode 12 should be out right now.
Yeah, okay.
And we have a lot of fun. My friend Emma and I, who is an actress I've worked with for many years. I'm aging, both of us. And we just sort of get together, talk about music. We have an artist highlight every week, and then our audience votes for it, and it's really popular overseas.
Yeah, well, it's hard to be popular in Australia. There's not many of us over here.
It really is. We get North America or USA, and then Mexico is our second most listened to city.
Yeah, wow.
Which is really bizarre to me, but I love our Mexican fans. So.
Oh man, I get it's strange. But most of the YouTube audience for the Pagey Train is in Australia.
Yep.
And as well for the Spotify and Apple audiences. But I've got more internationals in the listening audience than I do the watching audience.
Yeah.
I get people in Spain. I've got people in Germany.
It's an interesting. iHeartRadio has become our biggest. It's where we get our most listens from, and apparently they're all coming from sort of North America.
Well, that's the only one I'm not on is iHeart. How do you get on iHeart?
Oh, see, I'm on a podcast site that puts me on everything.
Oh, okay. Is that a subscription based?
Yeah.
See, I've chiefed out. I didn't do the subscription. I'm sorry. Oh, I shouldn't say it. I won't say. Oh, no, I will. Now,
confession time.
No, it's Anchor. I'm with Anchor. They're the guys, and they're free. But you do an advertisement arrangement with them.
Yeah.
I make no money, and they make very little off me.
Yeah. Well, see if you can get on iHeartRadio, because I get some good listens from there.
Yeah, okay. I should totally get on. I'm going to write that down.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. I'm definitely going to try that out.
Yeah. This could be big in Mexico.
Yeah, totally. That's what I found unusual on Spotify. I was getting a lot of international listeners.
Yeah.
And it's like, the Pagey Train's more of local content, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about Western Sydney artists and, Western, musicians, actors, directors.
Yep.
And some of that would have an international appeal, but I just found that perhaps just the context itself of just people talking about film, they're the sort of comments I've been getting. It's really bizarre.
I think people, because I've been travelling a little bit with film festivals, and people love Australians, which is a great thing. People often will be like, "Are you British?" And I go, "Oh no, I'm Australian." And then suddenly their face lights up and they want to talk to you. I think people really like us overseas, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I was actually. I think sometimes it's good to lie about your nationality. In some places, I've said that I'm New Zealander.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because when you go to places where it's got a few drunken louts, and sometimes it has been known that I do have a few. I just claim to be from New Zealand. All my friends probably claim that they're from New Zealand.
Yep.
And they tell me that I'm Australian.
Well, see, on the web festival, web series festival, I sort of have got a reputation as a hard drinking Australian.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think it happened to me on a flight, man. This is what spun me out. Misty always reminds me of this. She goes, "Remember on that flight where that stewardess?"
She's a good woman, Misty.
Oh, she is. Big shout out, of course, to my lovely wife, Misty.
Yep.
We are the. I don't know. We're partners in crime. Definitely, me and Misty. But yeah, she would remind me of this story of where we were on a plane. I think we're coming back from Dubai, somewhere like that.
Yep.
And the stewardess is like, "Are you sure you want another drink?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "How could you be okay?" Like, I only had 4 beers. She goes, "Nobody ever has 4 beers." I'm like, "Well, give me the 5th one. Yeah, I'll be your guy."
See, I had the opposite. On a Vietnam air flight from Thailand to Vietnam, I had the flight attendant just kept coming and filling up my my wine glass.
See, that's what you want.
So by the time I got off the plane, my boss actually said to me, because I was over doing an ABBA cover show tour in Vietnam, and
sounds fucking awesome.
We got met at the airport by this throng of people, and like the local press. It was bizarre. And there I am, absolutely hammered as I'm getting off the plane, and people are yelling, because I was playing Benny in the ABBA show. So people were like, "Benny, Benny," and I was like, "I'm so drunk right now."
Yeah. That's an awesome story. So that's what I like. Sometimes you just got to go rock and roll on these things.
Yeah. Well,
ABBA's
not that rock and roll, but I was living that rock and roll lifestyle.
Yeah, you can live that lifestyle, right? Totally. I'm full support of it, but at the same time, sometimes you just got to realise that you've got to sit at a blinking cursor and do some writing.
Yep.
Do you ever, I don't know, it's probably a real cliche sort of question, writer's block. Are you someone that just looks at a blinking cursor and types, or do you sort of plan out your work?
I usually start writing, and then usually it's always page 10. Page 10, I stop and I start planning things.
Yeah, okay.
And that's when I'll map
a good bit
out.
of advice.
I'll map the rest of it out, but I just let inspiration take me for that first 10 pages, and that's also sometimes when I decide that it's not worth me continuing.
Yeah, because
I've got a lot of things that are at 10 pages, and then I've thrown it away.
Man, I think I'm going to take that on board.
Yeah,
because I'd map everything out, and then I start writing, and they go, "This is kind of not going to work."
Yeah, because in that first 10 pages, you discover so much, and you get excited, and you write it, and that's when I get stuck at 10 pages, and so that's when I do a plan. I'm about to start writing a new feature film next week, and I'm just going to do that. I'm going to write 10 pages and see what happens.
Yeah, okay. Because I've got my feature on the back burner, which I've written it out again, and it's still Jelly trying to nail Jelly to a wall. Because don't get me wrong, it's got good aspects to it, but it's it's got a loose narrative arc. It doesn't really tie together, and you've got to go review it again. It's just helpful to get those tips on how to sort of nut out your story. I guess the approach I take is to have that obstacle and the formidable obstacle and the intent. What's it about? And why? Who's going from A to B, and why are they going there? And then sort of hang all those anecdotes off that. Yeah,
and because it was working at Neighbours as a storyliner was the best writing education that I've ever gotten in my entire life. Because we were plotting 6 episodes a week. So we had to, and quite often they would come in the room and go, so this is the reason why we can't have this storyline we plotted 4 weeks ago. We need a new storyline right now. Go.
Yeah, wow.
And then you have to say something, and then they'll go, no, again. And then you just have to think so fast. And we would plot things out, and I still plot in the way that I learned to do it at Neighbours. So I put Post-it notes absolutely everywhere and do sort of little maps for my characters. So I usually map from my characters, not necessarily as much from the story.
Yeah, okay. I'll do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So I'll put the scenes together on palm cards.
Yeah.
And I'll put the palm cards up on the wall. And then my favourite part is making my characters talk. Once I've got them in a scaffolding, and I can then populate that with dialogue, it's a very satisfying feeling because it just flows out, and you feel. I know, that artist side of you goes, man, it's flowing out of me. This is so good. And then I'm a pacer. I have to get up out of my chair, walk back and forth. Sit back down, drink a beer. All right, too drunk. Go and have a coffee, come back down, write again.
Yeah, and because I'm a person who listens to music, you either get two people who can't listen to music or people who listen to music. I'm a music listener while writing. So quite often if I get a little stuck, I'll start listening to the song and I might be singing along, There's me singing some old school, I don't know, Blondie. And then suddenly, it hits again and I can start writing again,
Yeah, I can't do the words, though. If there's music with words, I can't do it. If there's no words... Classical's like an easy go-to.
Yeah. I know a lot of people like film soundtracks while they write. I can't do that. I need pop music.
Well, there is one example that I would use, though. When I'm writing a scene and I know I've got the rights to that music to use it, I will write that scene to that music.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because then it gives you these... rhythms, because writing is rhythm, image is rhythm, and of course the soundtrack is rhythm. So if you get these rhythms, it tends to come out in the writing as well. It has those nice beats to it that have that ebb and flow of conveying a person from A to B. When I get some scripts off people, I go, this is a walking story. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, they're walking everywhere. Just get this guy to cut some carrots, man. Put them in different scenarios. Why make them walk everywhere?
Yeah.
This is a movie about walking.
Oh, that's hell to shoot, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but that's it, because I think it's easy to shoot. They put a lot of walking in.
Yeah.
Okay, no, put some static stuff in, man.
Yeah, static stuff is so much easier to shoot.
Yeah, and get them occupied. 'Cause
Yeah.
you want them doing something.
Yeah.
Performing a mundane task of some kind.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter
exactly.
what it is.
But then you get actors who are always... This is one of my favourite things as a director, actually least favourite things as a director, where an actor goes, so I'm not actually talking for a page and a half. Should I be doing something? Should I be like wiping this table, or should I go unpack the groceries? I go, if you and I, three of us having a conversation, and I'm spilling my heart out to you, would you then go chop some onions while I'm spilling my heart out to you, or would you just like look at me? And they're like, oh yeah.
Oh, you need the context, right? You need the context.
Yeah.
Context
If nothing's happening, that's fine. But if someone's having a serious conversation, just because you're not talking for a page and a half, you can't go off and wipe a table down.
Yeah. I suppose if they're giving you their manifesto of their future suicide,
Yeah.
you might not want to be chopping carrots.
Yeah. I'm like, oh wow, this is a great wine.
Just going to end it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please continue.
Yeah. Wow, where's this from? The Hunter? Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, they're the spaces that I finding tips like that. I think that's a really good tip, to write out the first 10 minutes to get a feel for it.
Yeah.
See if it's got any legs.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. But the thing is, when I find something that's got legs, like the last script that I wrote, you can feel. I could just feel it had legs, because it was just right. It's one of those total stereotypical scenarios where it just writes itself.
Yep.
I just wrote it out, and I did 3 drafts in the same afternoon.
Yep.
7-minute film.
Wow. Yep.
I was just picking up every win along the way.
In the zone.
Yeah, totally in the zone. But there's been other times where I think when I started out writing, I'd be cursed with the blinking cursor.
Yep.
The curse of the blinking cursor. And then I would say things to myself like, stay in the room. Don't leave the room. Just stay here until it comes out.
Yep.
But then I actually found by targeting what you're looking for is you get more out of it.
Yep.
You need you need to navigate your way there. But I think I've gotten lost along the way, and I think that advice of writing out that first 10 pages is a really good idea.
And for me, I set myself realistic tasks of a daytime. I'm like, today I can get 1 page out. Or I can get 3 pages out, or I can finish this scene, or I just finished writing a novel. For me, it was like, I want to get, I want to write 5 pages of this novel today. And I am not allowed to not do that. And I hold myself accountable.
Yeah.
So that's something I do as well.
Well, you need discipline, right?
Yeah.
You need discipline, especially the writing anything is the hardest part of anything. Right, like directing a film can be challenging, but it's not as hard as writing it.
See, I feel like people always say to me, what do I prefer? And I prefer
the writing.
Writing 100. I'm a writer first. I love writing.
I'm terrified of it. I love it, but I'm terrified of it.
Yeah.
It scares me.
See, whereas, the actual production scares me.
I love the production.
Yeah,
that's
I'm like, because I'm such a control freak that I'm there trying to do everything. Like going, what's happening here? Yeah.
No, well, that's it. You got to enroll the people around you.
Yeah.
You got to find the right people, especially a good AD. If you get a great AD, then and a good cinematographer.
I just shot this past weekend, and I had best crew, really young crew. It made me feel very old when because I sing randomly, and I was singing songs that I didn't think were that old, but they didn't know any of them.
Oh wow, I sing all the time.
Yeah,
on everywhere and whistle, or just whistle tunes. Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah. But like the basic 90s songs, and they don't know them, and I'm like, what? I'm so old. How old are you again?
It's finally happened. It's starting to happen to me. That's what I'm realizing.
Yeah, my camera assistant for the weekend, she had her 20th birthday during the shoot.
Oh wow.
She was born this century.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that. Well, if you frame it another way, Wayne, we were born last century.
Yes, quite a bit into it.
Yeah, a good couple of decades. Previously. Wow.
Yeah, and there's here's these kids that are so confident because of the wonders of technology now. They know how to make films. Like I went to university where I came out still not very sure how to make films because the equipment was so technical. Like to edit at university, we had to go to the big studio and edit there. And now they've been making short films since they were 10.
Yeah.
And, their knowledge is amazing. I sound like the oldest guy in the world right now. But it just, they inspire me, seeing young people sort of go out and doing it. And I kind of hate them and love them at the same time.
Yeah, I've definitely had that experience. When I was working at a TV station and you'd take interns on, you'd get to review your interns and then you'd pick the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
And you'd go, man, you've got half of a degree in your head.
Yeah.
If you understand that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you could write, maybe 20 essays in the next 3 years, you'd have a degree.
Yeah.
Because you've already got the knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned most of what I know from filmmaking from the internet.
Yeah.
Not to be too harsh on my schooling, I learnt principles.
Yeah.
Like, mise en scène, crossing the line.
Yeah.
All of these kind of mechanical blocking ideas or what a frame means. Some of the technical aspects, 24 frames or 25 frames, 30 frames, these sort of things. But most of what I've done and especially editing, you can find on YouTube.
Yeah.
How to like, you could ask it a really easy question like, how to export out of Premiere Pro because you've never done it before.
Yep.
And it will tell you.
I'm constantly on Google every day, asking bizarre, random questions. And the answers are always there, which is fantastic.
They're always there. I guess I get flattered, though. Editors ring me up and go, how do you do this, Ross? Like, how do you fix this? And I love that because that means, like, you've Googled it and then you've gone, that didn't answer my question. Yeah. How am I going to fix this? I'll ring Ross. I'm like, yes.
See, I'm completely untechnical. I'm a creative all the way. I just, I look at things and I'm like, yes, this is why. This is why it's collaboration. People. You edit, and I'll give my feedback. Yeah,
well, that's the addiction for me. Like, we're talking about it before. Like, you love that. You're right into the writing side. I'm right into the production side.
Yep.
Like, I look forward to uttering the words and market. I just look forward to that moment because once I've said that, I know it's started.
Yep.
I feel the real buzz in it, and I guess the reason I feel that buzz is because it's an intersection of all arts.
Yep.
That's why I love filmmaking. It is a massive intersection of all arts. It's performance, it's directing performance, it's writing, it is lighting. It's colouring.
Yep.
It's costuming. There's so much that is in that ball of ideas.
Yep.
And I'm across most of them.
Yep.
We started the show by saying what was it? What's the trick of all trades?
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. Jack of all trades and master of none because you have to be.
Yeah.
I think the modern lingo for it though is more slasher.
Yep.
And I've been to certain forums where they go, so what are you, Ross? I go, well, I'm a slasher. And you realise that I didn't gauge the demographic.
Yep.
Because there might have been an older audience. They're like, they now think I'm a serial killer.
Yeah.
Great.
Or you have problems with urination.
Yeah, I'm taking a slash.
For our overseas listeners, that is urinating.
That's urinating. Yeah. That's
Australian lingo.
Yeah, it's an Aussieism. Yeah. Definitely. Taking a slash. Is it taking a slash? That is just us?
Yeah. Having a slash.
What about the Brits? Are they onto that?
I don't know. I found when I was overseas recently, there were a few sayings. Like I said to the group, I said, it was like trying to push shit up a hill. And they all looked at me and went,
why would
pushing
you do that?
shit up a hill? And I was like... And then, then
explain it.
And so then they were all visualising, because I've never visualised it until that moment. Trying to push shit up a hill is not very nice on you.
No, but it's just a colloquialism, right?
Yeah, it's just an Australian thing saying that it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, I'm busy as a blue-ass fly. You don't picture a busy fly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pushing shit up a hill. Yeah.
Yeah. Taking a slash.
Yeah.
I don't know. Put it in the comments, guys. Put it in the comments. Guys in Britain, if you're listening, let us know. Do you guys take
the Americans certainly would not.
No, definitely not.
No.
Definitely not. I've been in certain scenarios in different countries with Americans, Canadians, Brits, and obviously Australians. And the Australians, Canadians, and Brits, they understand each other perfectly.
Yeah.
Because we all tend to speak in metaphor.
Yeah.
The Yanks speak very directly.
Yeah.
Like even
and don't understand sarcasm in many situations.
No, they don't understand the idea of putting down your mate as a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're a dickhead.
Yeah, you bloody dickhead. Why would he be a bloody dickhead?
Yeah. Like, what has he ever done to you? Yeah.
No, Yanks are very direct. Like they will say things like, who I can't. It was a McIntyre. It was a comedian called McIntyre. Can't remember his first name. But he would talk about, we call it the trash or a bin. They'll call it a trash can.
Yeah.
We go horse riding, but they go horseback riding.
Yeah.
You know, there's very descriptive. It's not a footpath. It's a sidewalk.
Yeah.
They're very direct.
I also love their confidence. Last year, I was at New Jersey Web Fest and there was a pitch competition for cash. You had to pitch your web series. And I am a very confident public speaker. And I was so nervous, particularly because I was in the second group. The first group of Americans that went, oh yeah, of course. Yeah. They were so confident, and I'm like, how are they this confident? They don't even look nervous in any way, shape, or form. But the Europeans and the Australians were all like, oh.
Yeah, okay. And polite as well.
So polite.
Americans are extremely polite.
Yeah, you might, believe it when you see, video out there, but most Americans on the street and you go up and you will ask them a question. I was lost in New York and I was asking somebody and suddenly these other people, and I had like 5 New Yorkers telling me where to go to find this subway station.
Yeah, I think what I've experienced with the Brits, though, is they're very good at being rude by being polite.
Yes, very much so.
That's their shtick.
Yeah.
And us Aussies, we're just directly abrupt.
Yeah.
Directly abrupt and usually opposing. So anything you say, like, for instance, if you had a friend, right, who was you would go up to them and go, you're a total bastard.
Yeah.
But if you had a boss that was a bit of a wanker,
yeah.
I even just said it then.
Yeah.
If you went up to your mate, you're a total wanker. That means you're a good bloke, right?
Yeah.
But if you were talking about someone behind their back and going, oh, he's a bit of a wanker.
Yeah.
A total wanker is okay.
Yeah.
A bit of a wanker.
Yeah, that's like one of my closest friends in the world, Jacinta Moses, who plays my wife in both After Nightfall and According to Otto. To her face, big shout out to Jacinta. To her face, I will constantly call her the worst actor in the world. Like, I'll go, it was a pretty good day. I mean, we did have Jacinta on set, but apart from that, it was a good day. And she'll laugh her head off. But behind her back, if anyone ever tried to say anything, I would probably kill them.
Yeah, probably.
But that's the Australian spirit. Like, we love our mates and we will pay the hell out of them, but just not behind their back.
I find in the creative industry as well, we tend to bag each other out.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
In the most nicest way as well. Like, oh wow, you filled this whole cinema for everyone seeing your film. All 80 people.
Yeah.
It's like, it's always a backhander.
Yeah. And I wonder, is it overseas as well that if your phone rings on set that you got to buy a case of beer? Is that just an Australian thing?
Man, you're a man after my own heart. I say this on every set. Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. A case of beer if your phone rings.
Yeah.
And I've had to pay about a good 4 cases there. Easily.
My phone's never on the ringer, so I'm always fine.
Oh, it happens to me every time. If I don't say it, someone's phone will ring.
Yeah.
And if I go, all right, I've only got one rule on set, guys. If your phone rings, it's a case of beer at the rack.
Is that just an Australian thing?
No, it has to be. I don't know. It's something that I definitely do.
Yeah. And because I heard somebody say the other day they were on a set and it happened with the director. It was a professional sort of ad set and the director sent somebody down to buy a case of beer and there was a case of beer at the end of the day because the director's phone had rang.
Yeah, that's what happens to me every time. Maybe
guys, ring Ross on set.
Look, maybe I subconsciously fail. Maybe I'm like, okay, is this socially acceptable to drink here? No.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's also your crew wanting to phone. I want some beer.
I'm like, all right, how do I get some beer into this situation? All right, everyone's phone off while you ring. Text Misty. Hey, can you call me?
Yeah.
Just call me right now. Maybe I am doing this subconsciously to make it socially acceptable to drink on set.
Yep.
I don't know. I need to talk to a psychologist, clearly. Please comment in the comments field and give me some help. Man, but again, you've got so much stuff going on. There's another cool thing that you've been doing that I've been really liking. Going back through After Nightfall.
Yep.
You've been going back and interviewing the crew. No, the cast.
The cast, yeah.
You've been going back to interviewing the cast. Was that COVID inspired or?
It was, and it was also just to keep it fresh because the festival run for After Nightfall started this year, and then now a lot of the festivals have delayed. So I'm just trying to keep, people who are fans of the page, keep it going and keep it refreshed. And so, it's still in people's minds that we're still out there. And I do think it's great. The cast did such a good job. And when you make a web series, you're with people a long time. And, we did 2 seasons. So we all had to come back to follow. Like, I only killed off one character in the first season, so he didn't come back. But the rest of the cast had to come back for season 2. So we became like a family, and particularly the people who played my family. It was really great and really great catching up with them and just having those chats. And yeah, there is that level of because of COVID, we're all feeling a little like we're climbing up the walls. So if you can chat to friends, and I've been watching so much more online content than I probably had before as well. At 45, I've really discovered YouTube.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, YouTube's got every answer to any question you've ever had.
Yeah, my mum wanted me to clean her vacuum cleaner head recently, and I couldn't find anything, and I started looking it up on YouTube. Found the answer on YouTube.
Well, here's an interesting existential idea for you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so the vacuum cleaner is a vacuum cleaner, and then you clean the vacuum cleaner. Therefore, that makes you the vacuum cleaner.
I feel like anyone who's seen me eat at a party knows I'm a vacuum cleaner as well.
Yeah, I had another one of those the other day. I like that sort of thing. I'd like to spin myself out all the time. Definitely. Yeah, I think it's a great idea though. Interviewing your cast and your crew. Got it wrong again.
Cast. Yeah.
Cast, the people that are performing the performance. Those people.
Yeah.
Actors.
Actors. Yeah. Because I'm an actor as well, so I'm always very, I always think of the actors on set.
Sorry, I'm having a very Lionel Hutz moment right now. You're the law talking guy, The lawyer,
or what's the guy from the castle? I've already checked tray 2.
Yeah,
it's Marbo, it's the Constitution, it's the vibe.
I've already cleared fucking tray 3. Like, okay, I got to tell you, man, again, a man after my own heart. I out of everything in the world, we were talking about it before. You call someone a little bit of a bastard.
Yep.
You can call people all kinds of horrible names. I cannot stand printers. I cannot stand them.
Wow.
Okay. I lose my shit at a printer like that. I'm terrible. Everything else, not everything else. Most things I have patience with, especially people got patience with people. But inanimate objects, especially printers, I lose my shit.
So in my mind, I was like guys who work in print shops. I'm like,
no, I mean
Doris who works at Snap Printing.
No, I mean the inkjet, the inkjet that's fucking you over because it's out of ink, out of paper, or it's jammed, and you've got 40 minutes before your assignment's due.
Yeah, I've thrown out so many printers. An Officeworks is only a few streets away from my house, so I'll just go to Officeworks and print there instead.
Yeah. So I really Stefanavo? What's his name?
I can't remember.
I'm really close to that. Stefanano, something like that. And when he's talking about clearing fucking tray 3, I'm really resonating with that guy.
See, that's some good writing because that has come from somebody's personal experience.
Yeah, and that's having a shit.
Yeah.
Having an absolute shit about it.
Yeah, because we all have those, and that's what I love about putting in things. Like I'll see a friend do something, or I know someone has done something, or I've done something, and you whack it in your work because it's a true reflection of what people are going through, and that's the stuff that people go, oh, that moment there.
Yeah, but they're great anecdotes though.
Yeah,
and that's how. Back to that writing process. You have that straight line of their intent and obstacle, and you can hang these anecdotes off there. So that idea from the writer would have been, well, where do I fit this in?
Yeah.
And you can fit that in anywhere.
Yeah, and often that's the stuff. I know as a writer, people have gone, oh, that's not really important. And I go, it is really important because you need the relatable stuff, and not everything should push the story forward. And I know a lot of people would disagree with me, but you need moments in there of character development.
No, you do. I think
character development doesn't always push the story forward. It just gets you to know the character a bit more.
It makes it relatable.
Yeah, definitely.
I think one of the biggest kudoses I've ever gotten from a film is when people go, I know a guy like that.
Yeah.
And I love that because they go, well, that's someone like I know, and I wrote that person around someone that I knew. That character development was, certain percentages of other people I know.
Yeah.
And that's how that character was born. That's where your film or your script or your play becomes your baby.
Yeah.
Because that's where I think that term of endearment comes from. This is my baby.
Yeah.
Because I've been working on this universe and I've been building it.
Yeah.
But definitely the characters that I built are named or aspected.
Yeah.
There's asbestos in my characters. No, aspects of people I know are inside of my characters. I guess the next challenge for me is to write something that's outside of myself, I guess.
Yeah.
That would be challenging. Have you ever done anything like that where you...
Having written for 20, plays for 20 years, I have written sort of some certain stuff that, I wrote a play set in 2050, which was about called Petroleum, where petrol was the currency of the world. But, I still in those...
Foreshadowing the Armageddon?
Yeah, possibly. And, but it's still for me, even in those situations, it's about writing relatability, because you've still got characters having everyday conversations in those moments. And so that's why I think even in those situations, like you've got a cast full of vampires and a werewolf, they still would have conversations that you and I would have.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose like a werewolf arguing with a vampire about people hoarding toilet paper would be funny.
Yeah, exactly. or a vampire drunk on blood. Cheers.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think Blade did it a little bit, where maybe they make an alcoholic blood vineyard or something like that. Yeah. There you go. That's a good hosh posh sort of idea.
Yeah. I love vampire stuff. I'd love to do some more. Yeah.
I do as well. I wish there was a bit of a resurgence. A lot of zombie stuff out there.
I feel like zombies come out the other end though.
Yeah.
I feel like we're a little over zombies. Yeah. Most people I know used to love The Walking Dead and have now given it up. Like I've completely given it up.
Yeah, I don't want to have any spoilers in there, but I gave it up a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but it was really cool. It was cool, and then it just
I was
wasn't
hate
anymore.
watching for about a season and a half, and then they killed off a character that I didn't believe they should have killed off.
Yeah, that's where I don't want
a younger cast member, and that's when I watched that episode, and I went, I will now watch no more.
Yeah, I think hate watching is a good term for that. I've done a lot of that.
Yeah.
Where you hate watch something.
Yeah, and you're just like, and then you're on Twitter going, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. Yeah, that's good for reality TV.
Oh, look, have you ever watched a show called Burn Notice?
Yeah. I used to love that show.
You used to love Burn Notice? All right, okay, maybe the first 3 seasons of Burn Notice was okay.
Yeah.
Right? But I got to a point where I started hating the show. And that would have been around season 6.
Yeah.
There's 17 seasons of Burn Notice. And I watched all of them.
Yeah, I watched every episode. Every episode of Burn Notice out there I have watched.
And I'd be cursing it out, right? I'd be watching it like, this fucking show never goes fucking anywhere. And Misty would be like, why are you watching this show? Because you're so aggravated. Like, well, I've got to see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's certain shows that I'm like, I know that it's about to end and I'm like, I'm determined I'm going to... Like, it's a show like Desperate Housewives was so brilliant when it first started. Like, the quirkiness of that great, show. Yeah. And then it just became a steaming pile of poo. And I tried to watch it to the end and I was hating it and I just had to give it up because I just was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it had a very... what's that? They're going for that Twin Peaks idea where, like, who killed Laura Palmer and who killed this woman? Did she commit suicide? And why did she commit suicide? Yada. I
mean, I'm not going to bag the murder mystery thing. It's my web series.
Well, yes.
Inspired by Twin Peaks.
I was about to say, but Twin Peaks is awesome. It's great to lift from it if you're doing it well. But I think After Nightfall definitely does it well.
Thank you.
It definitely does. It's clearly a good detective web series. Totally recommended, by the way.
Hey, thank you.
Another shameless plug. Get out there and check out After Nightfall.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, so you got your YouTube set up for Tunks Productions?
So I have 2. I have a Wayne Tunks page and then I have an After Nightfall page.
Oh, you got one just dedicated for that?
Yeah, because there's 14 episodes of After Nightfall in total over the 2 seasons. And I've set it up when I wrote it that you have to watch all 14 episodes because the killer isn't revealed until episode 14.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
that's how you want it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how
You've got to watch this whole way through to right the end, find out who the killer is.
Yeah, well, you got to get along that plot line and get everyone forgetting about the facts that you dropped earlier.
Yeah.
That's where you got to get them.
Or just like something that you don't even think makes like I didn't think was a clue, and people take it something completely out of context.
This comes up on the podcast a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And I've even talked about this. I made a sci-fi, and I only just wrote the storyboard. Didn't write any dialogue. Just wrote the storyboard. The last thing that I did, like even up to production, was populate it with dialogue. And then I chose to deliberately make it as ambiguous as possible. I deliberately tried to confuse people. And people were like, man, that was so in-depth, and, he really thought that out. And I'm like, no, I just drunk a bottle of Jack Daniels, smoked a pack of cigarettes, and got it done. Deliberately being confusing. Don't get me wrong, you put Easter eggs out there and here and there. But I find that when audiences grab onto these things that you had no intention on.
Well, that was the interesting with After Nightfall. I put a couple of clues in there that I worried were too obvious. Nobody picked up those clues, but there were small things, like in episode 2 of season 1, the drug dealing uncle's on the phone, and he's like, he's dead, what? And then he hangs up the phone, and his girlfriend goes, Troy's dead. And to the audience, they were thinking, oh, she's the killer because she knew Troy and not Troy's brother is dead. But I'm like, but he was talking to Troy's brother on the phone. Like, it's obvious that's who he's speaking to. But they were convinced that she was the killer because of this one moment, which to me meant absolutely nothing. But to them, meant that was the clue that I had given them.
Yeah, it's strange how these these sort of corridors happen.
Yeah. And I'd kind of told people that there was a big clue in episode 2. And they took that was the clue. And so people were convinced. They're like, I know it now, Wayne. I've got you. And I'm like, yeah, sure you do. Yeah.
Well, I'm one of those people that likes to find the twist. Yeah. Like, I was booed out of The Sixth Sense when it came out. I may have been a little bit, intoxicated at the time, I think. And I was in the cinema, and he's sitting down next to the kid, and he goes,
don't listen if you haven't seen The Sixth Sense.
If you haven't seen The Sixth Sense, spoiler alert. But in The Sixth Sense, the kid goes to Bruce Willis and goes, some people don't even know they're dead. And I'm going, he's dead! And I didn't say it like that. I said, he's dead! And then people were like, boo! Like, throwing shit at me, and I had to, leave the cinema.
I would have hated that because I didn't get that until the end.
I did, but I just had this. I didn't mean to spoil it for everyone. Yeah. But I was in a crowded cinema, and I'm going, "Oh, he's dead!" And it was boom. I'm like, shit, I had to leave. Hilarious story. But I'm always looking for the twist, right?
So don't go to see a film with Ross. Yeah.
Here's the thing. A lot of films that I've seen come out of Sydney lately have fooled me. And I love being fooled. That's where you want to be fooled. You definitely want to be fooled by a twist. You want to be suckered in. You want that illusion.
And I hope with After Nightfall, nobody has come up to me and said, this is the killer, and has gotten it right. Nobody, their one guess. Some people are like, oh, here's 6 people I think could have done it, and they've got it in that. But nobody, the killer, was their obvious choice for who did it. Which, as a writer, was an amazing thing for me that I lasted all those episodes. And even episode 13, I thought I gave the biggest clue in that episode, and people still didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, no one's got this. So, we shocked the hell out of people when that last episode was released because of the killer. And, it felt really good as a writer. And that's coming back to why writing is my favourite thing, because when your words or the story that you planned has that much of an effect on somebody, it's such a beautiful thing. It's a lovely stroke of the ego.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's why I think I like the production side of things, because I get that experience from the actors.
Yeah.
They go, man, this is really good. It's come together really well because we planned it and we've executed it well. That's why it's good. It's because of this power that we're using, and we're using it properly.
Yeah.
I love that experience. But I think the only thing to celebrate a film is when you go and see it on the big screen.
Yeah.
When you go and see it in front of an audience, and you get if you're lucky enough to go to a film festival and walk a red carpet somewhere, that's also really great.
That terrifies me. I get the most nervous before a screening at a film festival.
Yeah,
when I took After Nightfall over, the first international film festival I went to was in Baltimore, and there I am sitting there. And, I'm amongst all these other people I've just met who are these wonderful, lovely people. And my film started, and I actually felt like I was going to pass out. I went into a cold sweat. I was just so sure this is the Australian deprecating spirit. I was so sure that people were going to hate it and go, "You're a fraud. Leave the United States right this second."
Yeah, I'm going to be exposed for the fraud I am, and everyone's going to be in on it, and they're going to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And so at the end when people clap and people came out and went, "Oh my God, Wayne, I love that," I was like, film festivals are terrifying.
I don't know. They can be. They can
now
be.
I love them, but I both love them and hate them. They terrify me.
I know what you mean. But I guess, I don't know. I guess I've been privileged enough to have my stuff on big screens.
Yeah.
And you get to a point where I'm too busy smarooging, my sponsors or, working a crowd to even watch my film.
Yep.
I remember the first time I watched my film, the very first film I put on the big screen, I was really, really stoked. Actually, that was a really cool experience because I got to, I was at a student film night.
Yep.
And I had my name in every credit in everyone's film.
Oh, wow.
I made sure that didn't make sure, it just so happened, I should say, to be more precise. I didn't have the fortitude to go, I'm going to be in everyone's film.
Yeah.
I was just a really helpful dude and I just wanted to be a part of everything. And it turned out I had a credit in everyone's movie. So
and they also knew that if they phoned your phone during it, you'd buy a case of beer for every set.
Oh, yeah, because I was the... No, I don't like to say mature age. Non-school leaver. I was a non-school leaver at university.
Yeah, can you buy us a case of beer? I'm now that teenage kid from The Simpsons.
Yeah. Oh, I've had a girlfriend. She'd kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, people used to come to our place to party because we had furniture.
Not just crates.
Not just crates and, noodles. Like, we had the setup. We'd had a career before we went to university.
Yeah.
Which was really handy. Totally recommend it. Most people have a gap year. We just had a gap decade.
Yeah.
It was a great gap.
Yeah.
It was a great gap speaking. Oh, that's terrible. I should get out of there. Get out of there.
Whoa, hey. Yeah.
Man, but I think... Oh, man, I'm starting to get the flashes.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, are you going to... No, you're still going? Oh, yeah, good.
Yep, mine's on.
Yours is on?
Hey.
Yeah, like I was saying, I had some battery problems with it earlier. I'm a bit worried, a bit fearful. But no, I think we're at the end. Where can we check out you on your podcast?
So you can go to, if you check out You, Me, the 80s and the 90s, write that into any search engine and the podcast will come up. Or you can hit my website, which is tunks.com.au. And anything that I have pretty much ever done is linked on that website. So you can get to After Nightfall, you can get to the podcast, you can get to some of my short films. Overcaterers Anonymous, my new short film, should be coming out in the next few months. So you'll find out more information about that. And next year, I'm going to start shooting another feature in January called Bitch, which is another adaptation of one of my plays. There'll be more info on that.
Yeah, I did get glean a bit about that. Bitch, that's you're writing at the moment and getting it done. So check out those spaces, guys.
Hey.
We've got Wayne's putting out a lot of content at the moment, and hopefully continues to do so.
I hope so.
And man, I'd love to see you again at the festival this year.
Oh well, if you accept Overcaterers Anonymous.
Yeah. Well, just enter it in. We'll see what we can do. I cannot make any guarantees. I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll always put out good content. But look, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you coming to the studio / the bottom of my house. And you've been watching the Pagey Train. And don't forget to go and check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course on YouTube. Go and subscribe and go across to our Facebook page and tick like. And man, guys, you know all about the website. If you need anything built, promos, yada, 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 give me a personal message. You guys know me. Come on, check it out.
Yeah.
All right. But once again, thank you for being on the show.
I've had the best night.
Fantastic. And we'll see you guys next time. Sonic boom.
Boom.
I think I covered it all.
Yeah.
I think I got it all.
Yeah.
I've got my extensive...
We talked for a while.
Yeah, no, it's a...